Hey guys,
welcome back to our channel,
Plots with a Twist,
where we discuss books,
amongst other things, and we back.
We're back
with a quick little wrap up.
So very much quick.
Yes, we took a new year. We're gonna be way more consistent. We started off consistent, then we just it's the season, it's the time, but
yeah,
it is what it is. But we have been able to keep up with our wrap ups now, but we're trying to get our other videos together, so we'll get it together. So, but hopefully, you know, our wrap ups and our other content that we are able to film and release has been holding you over.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't think I have anything else, right? So let's get into it. Okay, so I was reading, okay? She wasn't. So last month, October, I realized I didn't have any spooky month reads, so I did go ahead and get some in there. So I'll go ahead and cover 2 of my books, and then Asia will do her little, and then I'll do the rest of my books. So the first one I read was First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I talked a little bit about that last month, and pretty much it focuses in on Evie Porter. But that book was good. So I'm about to tell you. Hold on. Focuses in on Evie Porter. She is dating this guy, Ryan. Oh my God. How am I remembering this? I'm so good. She's dating this guy. And his friends are kind of like, who is she? Who is she? Who is she? But it becomes apparent that Evie is doing a job. She's there for a job for Ryan, and something she has to get something from Ryan. Evie is not a real person. She is pretty much this woman who, you know, takes on these jobs under different identities for a mysterious overboss, or whatever you call it, a mysterious boss called Mr. Smith. So over the years, Evie has become good at like thievery and like just really adapting to her surroundings. She's very observant, and it just comes from her troubled upbringing. So pretty much she's developed talent and skills to get what she needs from the particular target. And so, but this particular job is not going as planned because one, Evie has not, it's a flow to the job. It hasn't been revealed as to why or what she's getting from Ryan. In addition, someone shows up under her actual name who looks like her. So it's kind of like, it's throwing things off. So as the story progresses, you kind of understand, you get insight as to where Evie is, what kind of led her down this path, different jobs that is causing her to question certain things, and ultimately she's trying to get closer and closer to figure out who Mr. Smith is as well. She's also developing a little bit of feelings for Ryan, so that might complicate the job as well, because her life with Ryan that she's living is kind of something she's always kind of fantasized about. So yeah, it's just a lot of complex things going on, and you just want to see what's going on with Evie and who's hired her and why. So yeah, it's just like a suspense kind of sort of. So I think I had started it last time, and I was saying basically it hits the ground running. It's a very fast-paced thriller. Pretty much, it's keeps you engaged. It's one of those where you feel like someone might be against the wall, but then actually this person has been doing this over here, and then now that person's against the wall. It's like one of those where it's kind of giving you kind of like espionage, kind of spy, but not necessarily specifically that, but it does give you that vibe and feeling. And then I think with going back and kind of understanding Evie's journey to lead her along this path, you get really interested as to the type of work she does, and just again the reasoning behind some of the jobs that she's doing. And it's just, I don't know, it was just all very interesting. So I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was really good. It kept you guessing. It was just constant, and yeah, it had a satisfying ending. It's one of those where it's not just information leading to something and it kind of leaves you hanging. It's one of those that has, like I said, a satisfying ending, a finite ending, and you may want to know a little bit more, but at the end of the day, you're okay with where the story kind of concluded. So, boom.
Is that your first one by that author?
Yes, I would definitely read something else by her. I don't know if that was her debut or not, but it was really good. Okay, boom. So next, I read Somewhere Beyond the Sea by T.J. Klune.
Your favorite?
Yes.
Oh, I already got that on there. Okay.
You need to read it. So these brains, sorry. So this catches back up with the crew. So Linus Baker, I know names this time around. So this is the second kind of like follow up to the House in the Cerulean Sea, which is become a like cult favorite at this point. A lot of people have commended the book. It's reached a lot of acclaim, and it's now I guess a pretty popular book talk book. But pretty much this book picks up not necessarily where the last one left off, but some time between the last one. So Linus Baker was the social worker that went to the house, the orphanage where the magical youth were being, some of the magical youth were being kept by their I forgot what they call him, headmaster, Lord, Arthur Parnassus. So that, if you haven't read it, I'm sorry, but that turned into Linus kind of now being in a relationship with Arthur and them attempting to adopt all the kids at the house. So now they have this family, they've got a flow, and they are looking to house another magical youth that's unregistered, and hopefully provide him a home as well, a Yeti named David. So while this is going on, Arthur, the story shifts focus from Linus to Arthur. This particular book, Arthur has been called to testify to hopefully encourage change when it comes to the magical people and the magical youth. And Arthur had a troubled upbringing and experience with the orphanage that he now is the headmaster of. So he's going to provide that, but it turns out that not only are they dragging his past through the mud, but some additional things are brought up, and it seems like the intentions of the council is not to help out the magical people. So then that ensues another investigator to go to the house and them to all kind of come together to rally and fight for their rights. I think that sounds right of what happened. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I enjoyed it. I did enjoy the first one a lot more. I think because I didn't have any expectations. It was very endearing. It was very heartwarming. And this one still had the feels as well. You definitely get a lot of those positive messaging, the we belong here type things that can run parallel to, you know, some things that are going on within, you know, real climates. So yeah, definitely a feel good, hearty book. And I like the evolution of Arthur's character, because in the first one, he's very like, I'm a, you know, figurehead and a strong person for these kids. But this one, you see kind of like his emotions and everything that's been impacting him over the years kind of come to a head, and how that impacts, like, you know, the kids and how they're able to be there for him. So I really enjoyed that. I will say this book was a little laid on thick in some ways. I don't like saying that, but it did feel, sometimes it felt like a little forced in some things. Like, I don't know the best way to say it, but pretty much, yeah, some moments just didn't feel organic. It felt like it was placed in the book for certain reasons, maybe aligning more so with the author's personal life. I don't know, but pretty much, again, it's not taking you out of the book, but it was, to me at least, kind of some of that going on. Which ultimately I didn't mind because I was able to finish and still enjoy the book, but I think that just kind of disrupted my experience overall. But overall, it was a good book. It's just I really enjoyed the first one better. Okay, I'm done.
So my one little book that I read Real by Kennedy Ryan.
I was supposed to read it.
It's a cute romance. So this book follows Cannon Holt and Neva Saints. Cannon Holt is a director who made his big break making this documentary about his mom, and now he's looking to cast his next movie, and he's just looking for the perfect. It's about a woman named Bessie
Johnson.
No, it's not Bessie Johnson. But anyway, it's like a historical drama based on a true story that he wants to bring to life, and he's looking for the perfect actress to play his main role. He goes to a Broadway show with his friend, what is his name? Monk, who is a musician who does the music for his movies and things. And Monk is like, oh, let's go see this. My friend Neva, she's in this Broadway show. She's an understudy, but the main actress is on vacation, so she finally gets to, you know, like, this is her first time on the Broadway stage. Let's go check her out, support her, whatever. So Cannon goes, and he has like a reputation for just being like very serious and just like no nonsense, whatever. He goes, and lo and behold, he loves Neva Saint. He like sees like his star in her, or whatever. So, but he's taking this movie very seriously that he's about to make because of his last movie. He fell in love accidentally with the, he got caught up in some scandal with the actress who was starring in it that kind of like, you know, put a damper on his reputation, but still, you know, he's able to make movies and he's still a sought after director. So when he finds Neva, it's given like, oh, well, this is just business. Like, I just love your work. Like, let's work together. But of course, they start to have these feelings of attraction, and it's like, how do we navigate this while, you know, trying to make the best movie of my career and of hers, because this will be her first starring role, Neva's first starring role. So that's basically what the romance is about. It was very cute. I think this is the second Kennedy Ryan, because I think the first one was the Before I Let Go, yeah.
And you didn't read.
But they have it on Everand on This Could Be Us. It's not available for me yet, but I'm going to read that one soon too. But yeah, so this is my second. I already know Kennedy Ryan was like, she's one of the it girls when it comes to romance, and black romances at that. So I knew it was going to be good, and it was. I thought the story was really cutesy without being too unrealistic and just too fluffy. I think both of the characters had a lot of dimension to them. They had a lot of backstory, which I enjoyed. It made you want to know more about the characters. And I do think that this is going to be a series, but this is the only one. So, as of right now. So, she loves a series, don't she? Mm-hmm. This came out in 2021, so it's given.
She probably already got the series.
I know.
But you're just late to the party.
No, it don't. Because you know how to say, like, the other books in the series. So, I don't have it. She ain't read them yet.
And she got a 1.5.
You might want to see that. I might read it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm interested to see if she does do another book. I'll definitely read it. But I really enjoyed it. That was my one little, and I listened to it. So it was a quick audio book for me to get through, and yeah, that was my read.
Okay. So like I said, I picked up some spooky months reads because I wasn't sure about like third book. I was trying to get a few books in and I wasn't sure.
Spooky, but it's not really my thing. Scary
books. So yeah, I nixed whatever other ones I mentioned last month, and so now I read We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kliewer. So I saw that on Goodreads, and it was like a new release. I don't know if it was released last month or the month prior, but I saw it and I was like, oh, and then I saw someone on Book Talk say, oh, this is a spooky month read. So I was like, okay, cool. So I like, apparently all the authors like some variation of Eve or Evie or Evelyn. So this book focuses on Eve. Eve is home alone one night, and her partner Charlie went into town. Yes, she went into town And Eve, yeah, she's home alone one night. They just moved into this house and they are working to renovate it and make it, you know, a home. Maybe one day sell it, but for now because they have flipped houses in the past, but for now they're just living there. So while she's home alone, she gets a knock on the door, and to her surprise, it's a family of 5. So a mother, father, and their 3 kids. Thomas is the dad. He introduces himself to Eve and lets her know, hey, I'm just in town. We're passing by and we used to live here. And I just wanted to show my family where I grew up and this, that, and the third. So he asks, you know, can he look around, look at the house, see some of the updates and the changes that have been made. And initially Eve is hesitant and dismisses them, but kind of is a people pleaser and doesn't want to be that type of person. So she allows them to come in. So she follows them around the house as Thomas guides his family on a tour and even shows her things that she didn't like initially notice in the house. And then things start to happen. So Thomas's daughter ends up going missing during their tour. So that prolongs the family stay in the house, as well as her partner takes some time getting back. And then at some point, her partner vanishes as well. So a lot of strange events start to happen as this family is in the house, and even from there. And it starts to play with Eve's psyche. She's not understanding what is real and what's not. And yeah, and that's where the book kind of goes. It's just something's going on with this house, this family that isn't quite right. So, Eve is written to be a millennial. This book should have been over in a paragraph. Millennials do not open the door.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? And if we open the door, we're not letting you in. That's what my thoughts were the entirety of the book. I found myself like reading, as I was reading, yelling out like, get them out, leave. What are you doing? Oh, our daughter's gone missing. Okay, I don't care.
Right.
We just got to wait her out. No, whoop that tail. Get her on out of here. It's just stuff throughout the book was making me so irritated that I couldn't even focus on trying to be spooked or, you know, whatever. Because it's like, he shouldn't have been in the house in the first place. Right. You shouldn't have answered the door. You hear a knock, you hide. You turn off the lights. You make sure all the sound is gone. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's too much.
Once you get past that, though, and realize, okay, Eve is just on this ride with this family, I will say, if for the creep factor and things like that, it was there, a little bit more there than I anticipated. I was like, okay, you know, especially reading a spooky book. I've read some in the past. And I'm like, okay, I'm a little like, oh, like, okay, so who is that behind her? What is going on? So I think it does give that emotion, or that, not emotion, but rather that feeling, that unnerving feeling. But overall, I will say I was very highly confused. I know what happened, like, as far as the plot and the progression of the plot, but I don't think the book explained what actually was going on with this family, explained what actually was going on with this house well enough for me to understand, okay, oh, I would have benefited from just knowing a little bit more information, having something. Like, it gives me, like, you know how Outsider, it's this thing, and then they explain that this thing is doing this. It's like, it didn't have that moment where it's like, okay, this is going on, and this is why this is going on. It just was like, and then when the conclusion happens, it's one of those where, I don't want to say like the ending it wasn't, in my opinion, a satisfying ending, but it ends as if like a spooky or scary movie would end, where it's like, oh my God. But even when it ends, you're like, so what is it? What happened? Like, I don't know. Is Eve crazy? Is like, I don't know. So yeah, I see why it's recommended. I see why people enjoy it, but also I haven't seen like higher ratings. I think it was like a 3.7. I suspect a lot of people will be confused by this book. You might, if you like this type of stuff, you might enjoy it. So the last book I read for October, again, thinking of spooky month, was Weyward by Emilia Hart. Now this was something I actually wanted to read prior to just being a spooky month, but then it just, opportunity. So this focuses on, and I can't remember their names. I remember all the other stuff names, and I read this one more recently. This is kind of like a generational witch novel. That's the best way to kind of describe it. So it focuses on 3 women, part of the same line. So Agatha all along. It wasn't Agatha, but it was something that kind of sounded like that. But it was like Agatha or I don't know. She is in 1916 or no, 1619, something like that. Then you have Violet, who's in 1940 something, 42, and then you have Kate, who's in 2019. So Kate is Violet's great niece, and their ancestor is Agatha. So it jumps to the 3 women's perspective and just the things that they are going through. They all have faced some type of maybe possibly abusive situations, and ultimately kind of how they climb their way out of those situations and how it relates to their abilities and their powers. And so they don't have like, magic powers, but basically their family line is very ingrained and rooted into the earth. So insects, birds, animals, herbs, they know plants, all that they are drawn to, and those things are drawn to them as well. And so a lot of their situations are resolved by, Mother Earth and kind of what their line kind of is tapped into. So Kate, she's in what it was abusive relationship, and she seeks refuge in her great aunt's cabin. And from there, she discovers, information to she never got a chance to formally meet her great aunt, but she discovers a lot of information about her family through staying in the cabin. And ultimately, like I said, it goes to the other women's perspective. So you see how they uncovered who they are or how they remain connected to stuff. I hope I'm saying what happened right. Kate had her own abuse thing, and then Agatha, whatever her name, in 1600 was accused of witchcraft. So she was on trial she was like part of the witch trials. So yeah, it was like one of those nice hearty books. Nice book to read for the fall. Nice book to like a cozy read. So it didn't have definitely had those things that you wanted to see each person overcome, but it wasn't like this big grand plot. It wasn't like these big explosive, like very captivating climax moments. It was just Kate has this thing, these women have these things, and how it all intertwines with their family line, and ultimately kind of like you celebrate how they all may have overcome. So overall, I enjoyed it, but it's like I said, it's not one of those like yip yip hooray books. It's not a very overly exciting book, but it's definitely a good read. I hope I described it, but that's just okay. Boom, bam. Thank you, ma'am. That's it for our wrap up. Do you have a TBR?
Yeah, I always have a TBR.
Okay. Well, let's talk about what we'll be reading this month. Okay. I don't really have a good TBR. Honestly, these books may or may not get read. One will get read because I've already started it, but the rest may or may not get read. But I will be reading Curvy Girl Summer by Danielle Allen. You gonna read that too? Or
I may try to read that. It's not at the top of the list, but if I can get to it, and if it's on audio, I would definitely get into it. So it's on my TBR though.
Okay, well you should do it. So we can talk about it. It focuses on I think it's about this woman. She is, what's her name? I can't remember her name. I just started it. Emilia. That's her name. So Emilia is setting out to date, and she hadn't been dating for a while, and she wants to find a man by her birthday.
Oh.
And so, but she's a curvy girl, and that comes with a lot of stigmas and stereotypes. And so a curvy girl in the dating world, you know, is kind of going into that. And will she find love by her birthday?
Okay, so on my list is Good Material by Dolly Alderton. So I didn't get to read Good Material, but it's still on my list, and it's on Everend, so I'm definitely gonna read it now because it's on the audiobook. But if y'all remember, it's about this man. He's like 35 and he got broken up with Andy, and so he's just trying to figure out his life. He's sleeping on his friend's couch, and he's trying to be a stand-up comedian, and it's giving like ill. But it'd be nice to hear from a guy's perspective, even though a woman wrote this book. You know, of a man going through some heartbreak, you know. So okay. I think that'd be interesting because we never get to hear the guy's side really in these. I don't think this is a romance book, but you know, just in heartbreak and whatnot.
Okay, so I promise I've been saying this for months now too. So I got one that I'm saying. Housemaid is watching by Frieda McFadden. I'm just gonna finish it. I'm just gonna finish it. Maybe. So that's still on my TBR.
Okay. All right, next one on mine is, so I don't want to say this is, let me see what this character read. Okay, it is thriller. So I found a new thriller person for us. They said that this guy's the bee's knees.
I've seen a few of his books.
It's Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. Do I want to read this? I do want to read it, but I don't know if this is the first book of his that I want to read. But basically it follows a black father, white father, and two murdered sons in a quest for vengeance. That's how the synopsis starts. So sounds interesting.
That's what I want to read.
Yeah, it sounds interesting, and it's a thriller. I know that's our favorite thing, one of our favorite things in crime, suspense, thriller. So all the things, which I haven't read one of those in a while, so I need to get back into that. So I'm excited to read one of his books. I hope it's good.
Wins. You just buy First Lie Wins. Just buy it and read.
What's it called?
First Lie Wins.
Oh yeah, it's on Everend, so I'm gonna read that too one day.
First Lie Wins on Everend?
I think so.
I used the Audible credit. How dare they? Okay, so for me, I want to get back into the Fire and Ash series. I don't know why I just didn't keep reading it. I try so hard to not be that girl who reads them back to back, but I was really excited about how the last one ended, The Shadow, I don't know what it's called, by Jennifer L. Armentrout, but the third, so this will be the third one I'll be reading or attempting to read, The Crown of Gilded Bones. So yeah, I just want to see what's up with the girl, the maiden, and go from there.
I told you about that book and I never read it.
You sure did. You got any more?
I'm gonna read it eventually. Yeah, you know I always gotta at least have 3. I will say, you know what I'm gonna read? So y'all gonna be so sick of me, but I don't care.
I don't know, nasty book.
This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Because
okay,
it's gonna be available on Everend soon for me. So I'm definitely gonna read that because I should have been read this like months and months and months ago, but finally it is going to be available. So yeah.
Okay, so if I do have time to read with my eyes, the other book I might try is The Will of the Many by James Islington. So I had seen that on Book Talk, I think. I had seen it as a recommendation. I think they mentioned it like, if you like this, read this type. I can't remember what book they said it about, but I guess once I read it, I'll figure out, because I think the book that they said it to, I have read. So, all right, that's it. Let us know your thoughts on any of the books we mentioned here today. Like this video, subscribe, ring the bell. We'll be back next time. Bye.